You keep asking, why should I keep going? That question is the problem, because the moment you need a reason, you've already lost control. The strongest people don't ask why. They decide who they are, and then they act accordingly, no matter what. You have been waiting, not resting, waiting for the right push, for the right feeling, for the right day, for something to shift. Nothing came, so you waited more. There is something about that pattern. It never shortens, it only stretches. Every time you needed a feeling to move toward your own work, you gave control away. Not all at once, a piece at a time, 100 choices over, until the feeling was not just useful, it became required. That is the trap. Not weakness, not laziness, a broken system built on fuel that expires. And you rebuilt it the same way every single time. Day 1, full energy. Day 3, searching for it. Day 5, gone. Day 8, starting over. That is not a bad stretch. That is a broken pattern. Running the same way, breaking the same way, every time. What is it costing you today? Not in a year, not down the road, today. Every time you wait for the feeling, you teach yourself something. You teach yourself the feeling decides, not you. The feeling decides, not you. Say that clearly. You taught yourself that the feeling decides, not you. And then you wonder why you feel out of control. The answer was never the feeling. The feeling was the symptom. The system was the problem. There is something underneath all of this. Not just the missed results, not just the lost time. Something harder to name. That will land before this is over. Goals are not enough. You have had goals, the same ones, year after year, written down, set up, sometimes started, rarely finished the way you planned. Not because you could not, because goals only point a direction. Goals do not hold you up. Something else does that, or does not. That difference matters, more than the goal, more than the plan, more than the schedule. The one who writes the goal, builds the full plan, knows exactly the work, and still finds the pause at day 4. This is for you, not a judgment, a mirror. Standards are different. A goal says, get there. A standard says, this is how I move every day. No mood clause, no weather clause, no exception for a hard week. A standard is not outside you. A standard is inside you. It is who you decided you are, and that does not depend on the day. Goals give direction. Standards give power. Those are not the same thing. Direction changes. Power does not. Direction points somewhere. Power moves from what you are. The calm version of this is not the absence of pressure. It is not needing the pressure to pass before you move. You can move in doubt. You can move in hard conditions. You can move when nothing is pushing you, when no feeling is pulling you, when it is completely quiet inside. You can still move. Not because the feeling returned, because moving is not about feeling. Moving is about who you are. Identity. Not a label, not a story about yourself, not who you are on easy days. Identity is what you do when it is the hardest moment, and no one is watching, and the doubt is right there with you. What do you do then? Not what you planned to do, what you actually do. That is identity. Not the story you tell, the action you take. in the hardest conditions. Hard conditions will come. That is not a warning. That is just true. Bad stretches exist. Dry seasons exist. Seasons where the effort goes in and nothing shows up in return. Seasons where you are doing the work and the results are not there yet. Those seasons do not ask permission. Those seasons do not care about your goals. Those seasons come for everyone, no exceptions. So the question is never, will the hard season come? The question is, what are you when it does? Not what you hope to be, what you actually are. Now take this forward, 1 full year. Not the year you planned, the real one. With the cycles, with the starting, with the stopping, with the waiting for the push, with the lost weeks, with the slow months, with the moments you almost had it, and then the feeling left, and you slowed, and then dropped. 1 full year of that. Where does that leave you? Not further than today, not stronger than today. Right at this same point with a longer list of what did not hold, and less belief than when you started. That is the real damage, not the missed goal, the belief you spent trying to run a system that was never built to last. The belief, not the goal. Every cycle that collapses costs a piece of it, small but real, and it stacks. Now take it further, 10 years. 10 years of cycles. 10 years of starting with everything. 10 years of dropping off. 10 years of needing something outside you to get you moving again. What is 10 years of that? Not the work undone, not the goals unreached. It is a version of yourself that you never became. Not because you could not, because you fueled the part that runs out and never built the part that does not. That version of you, the one who moves in any condition, the one who does not need a push, the one who holds a standard, that version was always possible, always available, never built because the foundation was always emotion, never identity. 10 years, not spent failing, spent waiting, not spent giving up, spent pausing, not lost to hard conditions, lost to needing easier ones. That is the real cost, not failure, dependency. You gave the control away. Every time the voice said, not today. Every time the voice said, feel it first. Every time the voice said, wait for better. You followed it. Those were not small moments. Those were choices. And choices stack. Small choices become a pattern. A pattern becomes a way of moving. A way of moving becomes who you are. You built this. Not the hard conditions, not the rough seasons, not the doubt. The choices you made inside them, those built this. That is hard to sit with, but it is also the best news, because what you built, you can change. Not by feeling differently, by choosing differently. Starting now, not when it feels right, now. The one who is capable has always been capable, has been watching the capable version disappear in a pattern. Not gone, still there, under a pattern that can change. This is where it changes. The answer is not more feeling. The answer is not a stronger goal. The answer is not a better reason. The answer is a different foundation. End the question of what you want. Start with who you are. What you want changes, by day, by week, by what is going well, by what is not. What you are does not change. What you are is decided, not felt, not found, decided. Once, clearly, no dependence on conditions, No expiration date, no maintenance required by mood. That is what holds. Not the goal, not the plan, not the feeling. The decision about who you are. A goal has an end. When you reach it, or when you drop it, the goal closes. A standard has no end. A standard is not a destination. A standard is a way of being. It does not get finished, it gets lived every single day. In every condition, even the worst ones, especially the worst ones. No finish line, no reward for just continuing. Just the standard, held because it is who you decided you are. That does not need applause. That does not need visibility. That does not need conditions to agree. Just the decision and the choice to hold it every day. You have watched people keep going in conditions that made no sense, in stretches where everything said, "End this," in seasons where effort produced nothing visible. Not because those people had something extra, because those people never asked if this was the right time, never waited for a good enough reason, never held off until the feeling arrived. That is the difference. Not talent, not better conditions. The decision. Made once, held every day. No renegotiation, no reopening, no new evidence required. Held. Not comfortable, not clean, not easy. Holding a standard on the day you want nothing to do with it is the hardest version of the work. Not hardest in difficulty, hardest in choice. You choose it with nothing behind it. No feeling, no reward in sight, no crowd watching. Just the choice, just the standard, and what you decided you are. And you hold it. Not because it feels right, because it was already decided. Before this moment, before this day, before the hard season started. Already decided. So, in this moment, there is only one answer. Every version of you that waited for the feeling missed that moment. Every version of you that needed the right conditions was not there for that choice. Those missed moments stack. Every one that passes makes the next one harder because the pattern says, wait. Until the waiting becomes the answer, and there is no room left for the version of you that just moves. That version is still there, has always been there, but quiet, because the waiting was louder. That changes here, not with a feeling, with a decision. The strongest people, not the most gifted, not the ones with the easiest starts, not the ones with every advantage, the ones who keep going. In the dry seasons, in the hard years, in the quiet stretches, where nothing is rewarded, where no one is watching, where doubt is the loudest voice. What separates them? Not a better reason, not a deeper feeling, not a bigger dream. A decision. Made before the hard moment, held through the hard moment. Not because it felt right, because it was already settled. Before the pressure arrived, before the doubt arrived, before the hard season started. Already settled, already decided. No debate left. That is where the strength comes from. Not from the feeling, from the decision the feeling cannot undo. You have been trying to feel your way forward. That has a ceiling. Feelings peak, then drop. Then you rebuild them, then peak, then drop. You have seen that ceiling. You have hit it many times. What if the work had nothing to do with feeling? What if the question was never, how does today feel? But, does this match the standard? That does not expire. That does not peak. That does not need rebuilding, because it was never built on feeling. It was built on a decision. Emotions are real, every one of them. Fear is real. Doubt is real. Exhaustion is real. None of that is the argument. The argument is not that feelings do not exist. The argument is that feelings do not lead. You lead. When fear is present, you work. When doubt is present, you work. When exhaustion is real, you work. Not because those things are not real, because those things do not decide. You decide. Every morning, the doubt may arrive first. Let it. The fear may show up. Let it. The tiredness may sit in the room. Let it sit. Work anyway. Not to fight those things, not to remove them, alongside them. That is the difference. Not that hard things disappeared, that hard things do not lead.
Most people arrive at this late, not because the answer was hidden, because the dependency was familiar. It gave the hard days an explanation. A bad day explained the pause. A rough week explained the drop. A hard season explained the full collapse. And underneath all of it, a version of you watching, knowing it was not the day, knowing it was not the week, knowing the real answer, choosing not to face it. Because facing it would mean no more explanations, just the decision and the work that follows every single day, no conditions attached. That is hard to face, not because the work is too much, because removing the explanation means full responsibility for every result from here. The one who already knows has known for a while, has been waiting for the right moment to face this. That moment is not coming. This is the moment. Not perfect, not set up, not the right conditions. This is it. Build the standard before the hard moment, not after, not when conditions improve, before. Decide what you are before the pressure arrives, because when it arrives, there is only room to act, not to decide. If the decision is already made, acting is simple. Not easy, simple. One path, one answer, already settled. Not dependent on the day, not dependent on how today feels, already settled. And when the hard moment arrives, you do not ask, "What should I do?" You already know, because you already decided what you are. Goals gave you direction. That mattered. Direction is not nothing, but power carries you when the direction becomes unclear, when the goal feels distant, when the plan is falling apart. On that day, the goal cannot hold you. The standard is right here, inside you, already decided, already real, already the answer. Every single day, even the worst ones, especially the worst ones. You do not reach for the standard. You are the standard, already built. Now, just hold it. Everything built on feeling will be tested on the day the feeling is gone. And on that day, only the standard holds. Not the goal, not the plan. The standard, inside you, set before that day arrived. Unmovable, not held by conditions. That is what carries you through the year, through the decade, through every hard season, through every stretch where nothing is rewarded. The version of you that moves because that is what you decided does not wait, does not negotiate, does not check how things feel first. just moves, in any condition, at any cost, no reason required. Through. Not around the hard season, not away from it, through it. You do not get to skip hard times. No one does. The hard season will come, and when it does, the version of you built on feeling will pause, will wait, will search for a reason, and the version of you built on a standard will move. Not because it is not hard, because hard does not decide. The standard decides. You decide, and the decision was already made. Every day you wake up and the doubt is there, and the weight is there, and the hard thing is still in front of you, and you move anyway. You are not just doing the work, you are building the version of yourself that cannot be shaken, not by a bad quarter, not by a lost year, not by hard years in a row, because the foundation is a decision, and decisions hold when feelings cannot. 10 years from now, you will not count the results. You will not count the goals. You will count who you became. On the days when being that was hard, on the days when the standard cost something real, on the days you held it anyway, with no one watching, with no reward coming, with no feeling behind it. Those days, not the wins, those days built you. Not the good stretches, not the easy periods. The days you chose the standard, when choosing it was hard, when everything around you said lower it, when the easier path was right there, you chose the standard. Those days are the whole thing. Those days are who you are. That is what carries forward. That is what matters.
Go back to the beginning. Why should I keep going? That question will return, not once, 100 times. It will come on the worst days. It will come when you are hollow. It will come when the work is not showing. It will come when you have been holding for a long time with nothing visible in return. And this is what you do with it. You do not answer it. Not because an answer does not exist, because answering it feeds it. Answering it makes the question the authority. Answering it puts the question in charge, and you are not answering to a question. You decided what you are. The decision was already made. The standard was already set before this question arrived, before this hard day, before this season started. The question has no power here, not because you silenced it, because you already moved. The question stays behind. You are already in the work, already holding, already in the thing you decided. The doubt does not disappear. The fear does not go away. The hard does not get easy. But none of it leads anymore. You do. The strongest version of you does not need a reason, does not need a sign, does not need the feeling to confirm. That version decided, once, quietly, before any good reason showed up, before any perfect condition arrived, before any moment that felt right. Just a decision, what you are and the work that follows, every single day, in any condition, no reason required. You already know what you are. You have known for a while. End the question. You already decided. Act like it.